welcome to News Hour. I am Aminata Fufana. Coming up tonight, a 5-story building collapses at Kisii Road, leaving some injured and others homeless. 2 women so far throw hats for Sierra Leone Bar Association presidential race. And National Commission for Children embarks on sensitization on Child Rights Act 2025. Now, the stories and more coming up in the next 1 hour. Stay with us. Welcome back. Now, a 5-story building collapsed at Kisii Road in Freetown. It left many families homeless and heartbroken after the structure came down around 1 a.m. on Tuesday. Residents say they were asleep when a loud crashing sound suddenly woke them up. Esther Suzanet Bassi visited the area and compiled this report.
Rescue workers and community members were at the scene at Kisii Road in the eastern part of the capital, Freetown, with heavy equipment clearing blocks and wooden sticks, alongside desperate families searching for loved ones and survivors. This is where 17-year-old Ramatulai Kamara and 21-year-old Abdul Mansaye were removed from the fallen 5-story building, which collapsed at around 1 to 2 a.m. in the morning as of Tuesday, 26th May 2026.
Right now, I feel pain, so I'm not going to get treatment, but I say we'll go for get treatment later. Probably, now someone it's in the hard difficult, but we will struggle. They won't go pull with it.
21-year-old Abdul Mansaye were among those rescued alive, while several injured victims were rushed to the hospital for treatment. For affected families, the loss is heartbreaking. One mother whose children survived the collapse said everything they owned was destroyed.
Around 1 o'clock, anything collapsed.
Everything got damaged, including my children, who were severely injured. Now, we are calling for justice and help from the actual owners of the collapsed building.
So all thing well, all thing damage. That made me want to talk to you, so we're not getting nothing to nothing.
Residents say they had earlier noticed cracks in the building and feared danger long before the collapse. Many are now calling for stronger enforcement of construction standards to prevent similar disasters.
Yes, before the house fell down, we've made some reports to the police, Ross Road Division. We've took some reports also to National Disaster Management. No, even the contractor, the owner of the building, because he's not presently in town. I heard that he's residing at the United States. We've tried to reach him, but unfortunately, we are not able.
National Disaster Management Agency emergency response teams quickly secured the area, disconnected electricity supply, and brought in engineers to assess nearby buildings, some of which may also be demolished for safety reasons.
This is as a result of poor materials that was used by the contractor to be able to put up a 5-story building. Structurally and practically and by principle, one of the required efforts, standard measure, is that for every flat to come up, after when you have done your concrete, you have to wait for a period of 21 days. After the 21 days, the materials get dried, they are hardened enough before you can go to the next stage. Some of these things that have been done, people may not know the implications of what they are doing. You put up a building, you don't observe the 21 days to make sure that it becomes concrete, becomes hardened, and you put another on top of it, it's because you lack knowledge. So for us, the first part of it is making sure that we're able to train people, we're able to educate people, we're able to engage the media. You guys have equal responsibility towards that. Anytime we engage you, we are talking to the public about these kinds of challenges.
Other government officials say use of substandard construction materials and failure to follow proper engineering procedures as key factors behind such incidents. Investigations into the exact cause of the collapse are ongoing as affected families continue to seek justice, shelter, and support.
We are hoping to see the swift intervention from authorities concerned, as there are several houses that are affected from such situation. Well, this is a very serious occurrence that happened around 1 a.m. to 2 a.m. in the morning. Although there were no casualties, but lives were injured. Victims, community people are calling on authorities to take active measures to prevent such occurrence. Well, for SLBC, Esther Susanette Bassi reporting from Kisii Road, Green State.
The race for the presidency of the Sierra Leone Bar Association is gradually taking shape, with 2 female lawyers now publicly declaring their ambitions ahead of the association's next elections. Incumbent President Tuma Adama Jabi is seeking re-election, while legal practitioner Martina Bendu Ibenda is making her first bid for the top position. Their declarations come at a time when the legal profession in Sierra Leone continues to face internal divisions, questions over governance, and growing calls for reforms within the justice sector. Cecilia Alice Sise has the details.
The presidency of the Sierra Leone Bar Association is once again in focus, but this time with a significant gender dimension. For the first time in recent years, 2 women are openly competing for leadership of one of the country's most influential professional bodies. Current bar president Tuma Adama Jabi has launched her re-election message under the slogan "Raising the Bar, Securing the Gains," highlighting what she describes as achievement during her tenure. Her campaign materials point to initiatives including the launch of a private pension scheme for lawyers through NASIT, efforts to secure land for a permanent bar secretariat, international scholarship opportunities, and strengthening partnerships within and out of Sierra Leone's judiciary. Tuma Jabi says continuity is needed to consolidate the gains already made by her administration. Meanwhile, newcomer Martina Bendu Ibenda is presenting herself as a reform candidate, campaigning on the message, "Together we can build a united bar." Her vision focuses on unity, professionalism, empowerment, and respect within the legal profession. In her declaration, Martina Ibenda calls for what she terms a united, respected, and progressive bar, promising to promote fairness, ethical standards, and support for young and female lawyers. The emergence of 2 female contenders for the bar's top office is already shaping a different conversation within the legal community. Beyond the politics of the election itself, the contest is also drawing attention to the growing visibility of women in leadership within Sierra Leone's justice sector, particularly at a time when the profession is grappling with questions of reform, unity, and institutional credibility. While both candidates are presenting different visions for the future of the Bar Association, their candidacies also reflect a broader shift in female representation in spaces traditionally dominated by men. As campaigning gradually gains momentum, members of the Bar Association are expected to closely examine not only the candidates' promises, but also their ability to restore confidence, professionalism, and cohesion within the country's legal community. Interviews with the aspirants are expected in the coming days as the race for the Sierra Leone Bar Association presidency gains momentum. SLBC News, Cecilia Alice Sise. The presidency of the Sierra Leone Bar Association is
President Julius Maada Bio has appointed Usman Aikanu Esquire as Solicitor General, replacing Robert Kwa. Prior to his appointment, Kanu had served as Director of Public Prosecutions and would now assume responsibilities as the Principal Assistant to the Attorney General and Minister of Justice. He would oversee key legal and administrative functions of the state. Now, Frabe College Muslim Jamaat has organized its maiden student conference on the theme Navigating University Life Challenges, Faith and Growth Beyond Campus. The conference was an opportunity for students to interface with experienced personalities, including the Deputy Vice Chancellor, on the importance of upholding faith and academic excellence. Mohamed Kroma tells us more.
The maiden student conference organized by Frabe College Muslim Jamaat brought together eminent young leaders, Islamic scholars, educationists, and senior officials of the university, including the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Professor Andrew Bayo. The conference was a platform for experienced personalities to motivate students on how to navigate university life, challenges, faith, and growth beyond campus. A renowned Islamic scholar, Dr. Ibrahim Saliu Kamara, encouraged students to strike the balance between faith and academia. He said that Islam is not about accumulating papers, but it is about solving societal problems.
You need spiritual guidance. We have seen knowledge failing us. I have seen PhDs speaking like children, behaving like children. They became a disgrace. You read law, but it's a law without God. So you make law for sale. You sell law. What did Quran say about people who perpetrate injustice? What did Quran say? Those people who don't judge according to Allah's command.
The Deputy Vice Chancellor, Professor Andrew Bayo, lauded FBC Muslim Jamaat for the engagement, stating that Sierra Leone continues to enjoy religious tolerance.
I know exactly what it means to be a Muslim, and you always have my support because I'm living the practice, even though I am a Christian. But I mean, my wife and my community where I grew, you have Muslims and Christians living in harmony, and that is one of the most important traits of our country.
Senior lecturer of Frabe College, Dr. Fatou Taki, encouraged the students to uphold their Islamic identity, emphasizing the need for students to read, learn, and understand their religion.
Things that you hold very dear to yourselves is you ask yourself the question, what impact am I making? What impact am I making on yourself? What impact am I making on other people? What impact am I making to society? What is my legacy? So I come through the doors of Frabe College and pull me model Akaop. I am here 4 years or 5 years. When I'm done, what am I doing with what I've learned?
The conference also featured panel discussions where students could learn from the inspiring stories of academics who struck the balance between faith and academia. For SLBC, Mohamed Kouma reporting.
The National Commission for Children is on a sensitization campaign on the Child Rights Act 2025. Its Director of Advocacy and Communication Coordinator, Adiva Castle, during our Good Morning Sailing program, said there were a lot of issues in the old law that needed to be addressed. Some of them were child labor and abuse, teenage pregnancy, and child marriage, among other things. Here is an excerpt of her statement.
The 2007 Act, one problem it had was it was a bit silent on the responsibilities of children. it talked more about the rights of children, but not their responsibilities. So we had a lot of criticism during our work. When we go to communities, people will bash at us. Oh, you are the ones making the children to go out of hand. The rights are too much. They said we should not discipline them. They'll take you to the police. They'll take you to the commission. But this one now, during the review, we actually pushed for the responsibilities of children to be clearly spelled out, and it had this. And the responsibilities were clearly spelled in the 2025 Act. The 2007 Act had the commission, established the commission, and the main purpose of the commission was to monitor and coordinate the implementation of international instruments, the UN Convention on the Rights of the Child, the African Charter on the Rights and Welfare of the Child. Those two documents were used to domesticate the Child Rights Act of 2007. And the commission had a mandate to oversee those two, the implementation of those two international documents, and to also advise government. This 2025 Act gave the commission the mandate not just to 2007, gave us mandate to oversee part 3, just part 3 of the 2007 Act, which was the responsibilities of states and parents. But this one gave us a holistic mandate to oversee the implementation of the whole Act. So those are some of the differences. But one thing I would say that make this a very special is that it drew from other policies, other legal frameworks relating to children, not just international like the UNCRC and the African Charter. It also had legal and regional instruments that made sure everything around children is in there and the children are well protected. They also have a responsibility to respect their parents, their elders. Respect is the second thing in the Act, respect for elders, and even respect for their peers, their children, because everybody's right stops where the other person's right starts. So they have a right to respect people. They have a right to, when they go to school, it is the responsibility of the parent and to some extent the state to send the children to school to be educated. But that child in school has the right to be studious, to study hard and make sure he or she passes the exams, not to play truant in school that we call kekwe, or to join bad company in school. So those are some of the responsibilities. They also have a responsibility to, if they have skills or talent, to showcase the country. Like we have children representing Sierra Leone in different parts of the world. Like the commission since 2019, we've been supporting children in robotics. So every year they travel to different parts of the countries to represent the country on the global stage. So those are some of the things. They should ensure that they respect our culture. They should be, first of all, be brought up according to the culture. Every family has its norms, its cultures and traditions. Once they are brought up in those things, it is their responsibility to uphold them.
That was the Director of Advocacy and Communication Coordinator, National Commission for Children, Adi Vakasal. Now, First Lady Fatima Madabio has delivered a public lecture on the theme Ending Child Marriage and Promoting Girls' Education in Sierra Leone at the Frabe College campus. During the lecture, Madam Fatima Bio emphasized that child marriage is not a culture, tradition, or destiny, but injustice to the victim. Yusuf Mosiri Suma was there and sent in this report.
With such an excitement, this was how the First Lady, Her Excellency Fatima Madabio, was welcomed on campus. The public lecture was organized by the Sierra Leone People's Party Student FBC chapter with the theme Ending Child Marriage and Promoting Girls' Education in Sierra Leone. The president of the SLPP FBC chapter, Vandi Mali Sharif, called for a mentorship platform for young female students to enhance leadership skills and jobs for students' economic independence.
Your Excellency, in anticipation of better Sierra Leone through young people, we submit you for due consideration and establishment of a mentorship platform linking young female students with women leadership to enhance leadership skills on campus at Frabe College. Furthermore, we seek assistance in fostering youth entrepreneurship by connecting students with resources, skills, and job for economic independence.
The Deputy Vice-Chancellor of the university, Professor Andrew Bayo, described the First Lady as a passionate leader who transforms advocacy into action.
Dr. Fatima Mada Bio has emerged not only as a mere First Lady, but as a transformative force, a passionate leader whose voice has become a shield for the voiceless and a sword against injustice. Nationally, her legacy is already etched into the moral fabric of Sierra Leone. Through the landmark Hands Off Our Girls campaign, Her Excellency has led an unrelenting war against child marriage, rape, domestic violence, and the silent suffering of girls across our nation. She has transformed advocacy into action.
Whilst delivery and lectures to students, educators, and community leaders present, the First Lady described child marriage as injustice and not a culture, tradition, or destiny for girls. She also said girls should not be a burden or transaction in the family.
Across Africa, millions of girls are still being told, your dream do not matter. Your education can wait. Your future belongs to someone else. And we must say clearly and courageously, no, our future belongs to us. A girl is not a burden. A girl is not a transaction. A girl is not a problem to be solved through marriage. A girl is a potential. Child marriage steals that potential. It steals childhood, it steals their education, and it steals their health.
She said girls' education is a sword against child marriage and that investing in girls is not a charity.
Education is the greatest equalizer humanity has ever created. Education is not simply about classrooms, uniforms, lectures, or examination. Education is protection. Education is dignity. Education is freedom. So investing in girls is not charity. It is smart national development.
The First Lady added that if Africa wants peace, its leaders must protect girls and improve on their education for a safer learning environment. The First Lady urged young people and duty bearers to take an active role in advocating within their own communities and call on institutions to enforce existing laws against child marriage without exception. Swadu Kaba is a Year 2 student pursuing History and African Studies at FBC. She described the lecture as a learning ground. She called on law enforcers to uphold the rule of law by punishing perpetrators who goes against early child marriage in Sierra Leone.
Child should not be forced to marriage if they are not willing, because marriage is willingness. So the First Lady is trying to put an end to that to society.
For SLBC News, Yusuf Mosire Suba reporting.
The Public Investments Technical Committee has met for the first time since it was established in 2024. One among many of its functions is to review and appraise government's projects and programs for selection and budgeting. Joseph Toure witnessed the event at Country Lodge Hotel in Freetown and compiled this report.
In here are members of the Public Investments Technical Committee drawn from various ministries, departments and agencies, supervised by the Ministry of Planning and Economic Development and the Ministry of Finance. It has a huge task in shaping and aligning government's programs with the available resources. This inaugural meeting held in Freetown focused on key areas not limited to review and appraise projects and programs for selection and budgeting, review the stock of existing public investment programs to effectively streamline the portfolio.
On the rationalization of the PIP itself, with all the numerous projects that are there, we want to see which ones we can retain, which ones we can exit, which ones we can extend, downgrade, or defer.
The Financial Secretary, Ministry of Finance, Matthew Dingy, said there was a need for the committee to bring ongoing projects to financial close and such strategy should be made clear. He urged the body to have an objective based on practical evidence to show that public investment programs are financially viable.
All of these committees to see how to identify these projects, what's the scope of these projects, and what's the cost of investing in this project, but most importantly, how this committee can recommend to government what financing options are there for government to utilize in the implementation of this project.
The Minister of Planning and Economic Development, Kene Bali, said it was essential to reset the public investment programs framework to restore budget credibility and sustainability. She said the reason her ministry would work with other MDAs and the development partners to align public investment with the government flagship priorities while continuously reforming the system to optimize financing.
The ministry views this committee as the engine that will ensure efficiency, transparency and accountability in all of our public investments.
The technical sessions were very interactive, with experts moving back and forth even over the definition of what a project is as per the public investment programs. Committee was expected to present its work to the Ministerial Committee for review or approval before government's programs are implemented. SLBC, Joseph Toure reporting.
The humanitarian aid organization HAO Sierra Leone, with support from International Humanitarian Help Netherlands, has donated clothing and other children's items to orphans in Makeni and Watslow. The initiative was intended to improve the welfare of vulnerable children while ensuring that they feel included and supported during festive celebrations. Abdul Masari has more details.
The donation benefited over 100 orphan children. The items donated included children's clothing, shoes, and other essential materials designed to meet some of the immediate needs of the beneficiaries. The International Humanitarian Help Netherlands, with the Humanitarian Aid Organization HAO Sierra Leone, said the gesture formed part of their ongoing efforts to provide care, support, and hope to less privileged children across Sierra Leone. The support comes at a time when many families and orphan children were preparing for the upcoming Eid al-Adha celebrations. The support put smiles on their faces after receiving new clothes ahead of the religious celebration. The CEO of the Humanitarian Aid Organization HAO Sierra Leone, Gassi Moja, expressed satisfaction with the initiative and reaffirmed the organization's commitment to supporting those in need. The donation exercise was a show that humanitarian organization could promote social welfare, including the well-being of children in need across Sierra Leone. SLBC News, Abdul Mansari reporting.
The African diplomatic missions in Sierra Leone, in partnership with the government of Sierra Leone, have celebrated the First Africa Day 2026 under the theme Together as One Africa. The celebration, attended by ambassadors, members of the diplomatic corps, and representatives from various ministries, departments, and agencies, focused on reflecting on Africa's past achievements and shaping the future of the continent. Here's the report. Commissioner of the Gambia and representative of the African Ambassadors Group, Ambassador Claudia Cole, described the occasion as significant for both Sierra Leone and the African continent. She stressed the need for safe water and sanitation systems in achieving the African Union's Agenda 2063. She noted that diplomats must move beyond words to action in addressing challenges affecting the continent, particularly access to clean water, which she described as a matter of human dignity and a basic necessity of life. According to her, Agenda 2063 envisions an Africa free from deprivation, where citizens have access to essential amenities.
I wish to pay special tribute to our host nation, the Republic of Sierra Leone, a country that embodies the spirit of Africa. Sierra Leone has demonstrated courage in the face of adversity, and today stands as a proud example of resilience, democratic governance, and the warm hospitality that defines the African spirit. We are grateful for the friendship and solidarity extended to all African nations represented here. And I want to say thank you.
The Gambian High Commissioner reaffirmed the commitment of Africa diplomatic missions and partners to prioritize sustainable water systems and strengthen collective action toward development goals. She added that Africa, with its population of over 1.4 billion people, remains blessed with rich cultural diversity and abundant natural resources despite challenges posed by climate change. Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation Timothy Kaba said commemoration of Africa Day established on May 25, 1963 serves not only as a moment of reflection, but also an opportunity to renew commitment to African solutions to African problems. The minister said Agenda 2063 represents Africa's determination to transform the continent into a globally competitive and inclusive society where resources are managed responsibly. He said Sierra Leone's commitment to the principles of the African Union and the goals of Agenda 2063, emphasizing that access to water is a fundamental to human dignity, public health, economic productivity, and social development. The minister noted that the theme Together as One Africa speaks to the importance of unity and cooperation in addressing challenges confronting the continent. He said Africa's strength lies in its youthful population, innovation, and cultural diversity, which are critical in building resilient societies. The minister concluded by renewing Sierra Leone's commitment to African solidarity and assured the diplomatic community of the fullest support of President Julius Maada Bio in advancing the continent's development aspirations. Ambassador of Egypt recalled the experience in making the event a success. She expressed appreciation to the Minister of Foreign Affairs for the collective contribution to making the first celebration a success. She said the launch of the African Ambassador Group and the anniversary of Africa Day.
Our continent is rich in natural resources, youthful energy, innovation, and cultural diversity. What is now required is the collective resolve to harness these strengths to build resilient societies and create opportunities for all Africans. On this Africa Day, let us therefore renew our commitment as Africans to our African solidarity, sustainable development, peace, and regional cooperation. Let us continue to work together to ensure that no African is left behind in our collective journey towards prosperity and dignity.
The ambassador of Egypt recalled the collective efforts made to ensure the success of the events and expressed appreciation to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation for its support and contribution toward making the first Africa Day 2026 celebration a success. She noted that the launch of the African Ambassadors Group alongside the commemoration of Africa Day marked a significant milestone and expressed optimism that future celebrations would become even more successful. The day of Arafah is on the 9th of Dhul Hijjah and is one of the most important days in the Islamic calendar, as it's usually done every year to observe the day. Muslims who usually go pilgrimage perform the wukuf, the standing considered to be the most essential pillar of Hajj. The scene shows thousands of pilgrims walking through the plains of Arafat, reciting Istaghfar and making dua. Sulaiman Babaturi puts this report together.
It's the 9th day of Udhijjah, the 12th and final month on the Islamic calendar. This day, Muslims say, is very important, especially to those performing Hajj. The Saudi General Authority for Statistics says a total of 1,707,301, including domestic and international pilgrims, performed Hajj in 2026. Observing the auspicious occasion, the pilgrims performed the Arafah and walked through plains of Arafah reciting Istighfar, making dua and offering prayers. Upon reaching Mount Arafat, the pilgrims observe Zuhr and Asr prayers and listen to sermon Kutubah. This day is considered by Muslims very important, as is believed to be a day of immense divine forgiveness, mercy, and blessings, and opportunity for purification and seeking Allah's pleasure. As it stands, there are no reports of mass casualties or stampedes because Saudi authorities say they put safety measures in place. During this day, Muslims, including the pilgrims, fast to seek immense spiritual reward, specifically the forgiveness of their sins for both the previous and upcoming year, and to spiritually connect with the millions of pilgrims performing Hajj. SLBC News, Sulaiman Babaturi reporting.
In a move to strengthen economic cooperation and attract foreign investments, Sierra Leone's ambassador to Turkey, Dr. Frances Virginia Anderson, has led a delegation of Turkish investors to Parliament. The delegation met with the retired Honorable Speaker Segepo Solomon Thomas and the leadership of Parliament to present their proposed investment plans for Sierra Leone. Ambassador Dr. Frances Anderson noted that Sierra Leone was the first point of contact for these investors and urged the country to make full use of the opportunity to deepen economic ties. The investors thanked the House for its hospitality and expressed satisfaction with the assurance of provided regarding the security and protection of their proposed investments. The leader of government business, Honorable Matthew Numa, welcomed the delegation and called for a swift and impactful commencement of the projects, emphasizing that they should be geared toward improving the livelihoods and interests of Sierra Leoneans. In his remarks, the retired Honorable Speaker Segepo Thomas acknowledged the support of the entire parliamentary leadership in advancing a progressive and investor-friendly legislative agenda. He assured the delegation that Sierra Leone is a peaceful and stable country, making it an attractive destination for investments. The 2026 Sierra Leone Mining Week and exhibition has ended in Freetown, designed to position Sierra Leone as a premier investment destination, promoting its rich mineral resources and commitment to responsible mining. The week also featured the 11th African Diamond Producers Association ADPA ordinary meeting of the Council of Ministers. As Ibrahim Samura reports, the week was organized by the Ministry of Mines and Mineral Resources together with the National Mineral Agency.
The 2026 Sierra Leone Mining Week brought together key stakeholders including government officials, mining companies, industry leaders, investors, and service providers to discuss challenges, opportunities, and innovations in Sierra Leone's mining industry. The exhibition showcased various mining technologies, equipment, and services from players in the mining industry, providing a platform for networking and collaboration. The event positioned Sierra Leone as a premier investment destination by showcasing its mineral resource potentials and commitments to responsible mining. Closing the session, Minister of Mines and Mineral Resources, Dr. Julius Matai, underscored the importance of the theme.
Responsible mining without shared prosperity is incomplete. I did mention that value multiplication without shared prosperity is unjust. I did again mention that shared prosperity without responsible governance is unsustainable.
The event also featured the 11th Africa Diamond Producers Association ordinary meeting of the Council of Ministers and experts panel discussions and opportunities for business partnerships in financing, academia, infrastructure, arbitration, community issues, and women in mining, among others.
I have said this is no longer about mining. This is about the pride, dignity, and soberness of us as Sierra Leoneans. For so long, complaining that your mineral resources are not working for us. And I do believe there's a lot of truth in that. But that responsibility falls on all of us.
The Sierra Leone Mining Week and Exhibition was a flagship annual event in the national mining calendar of the Ministry of Mines and Mineral Resources and the National Mineral Agency. Ibrahim Samura, Freetown.
We now join the sports team for the latest updates.
Hello and welcome to the sporting updates that keeps you in the know. And by the way, my name is Abdul Kabir. Thank you so much for your time. Now, the St. Michael's Field in the east end of Freetown greeted combat sport fans with immense joy as the Ultimate Fighting League Sierra Leone descended on the field. SLBC Sports witnessed that exciting event. The Bone-to-Bone event successfully transformed the iconic St. Michael's Field at the Locust community in the east end of Freetown into a premier combat arena. It blended raw athleticism with a high-energy festival atmosphere. Secretary General of the Ultimate Fighting League Sierra Leone, Abubakar Kagbo, hailed the battle as a landmark success for the local combat sporting scene. Beyond the visual spectacle, Abubakar emphasized that the Bone-to-Bone series serves as a deeper purpose, establishing a structured professional pathway for Sierra Leone's emerging boxing talent to tackle substance abuse. He added that their goal was to give young athletes positive engagement and a stage where their talent could truly shine at the end of the day. The championship delivered more than just technical bout. It was a comprehensive entertainment experience for spectators at the St. Michael's Field. Fighters like Nigerian-born Onowu Ali Bangura, Santos Fofana and Mustafa Sherif from across the city traded heavy blows in a series of high-stakes bouts with unwavering passion for glory. A massive turnaround of spectators lined the field, creating an electric environment that pushed the athletes to their physical limits. In a unique twist, the bone-to-bone action was interposed by live musical performances, keeping the crowd's energy at a peak between rounds. The resounding success of this event signals a growing domestic appetite for organized, large-scale combat sport by proving that they could execute a professional production in a challenging outdoor event like the Bone-to-Bone event at the St. Michael Field. With the dust and sand finally settling, fans and athletes were already looking ahead to the next installment of the Bone-to-Bone Championship. Now in the international scene, the 2025-2026 English Premier League has ended. And Arsenal are the champions. It's official. And other highs and lows in the competition were truly recorded as well.
Arsenal, the Premier League champions.
Arsenal has been crowned champions of the 2025-2026 English Premier League season, ending a 22-year wait for the league title. The Gunners finished 7 points ahead of rivals Manchester City to secure their 14th top-flight title and 4th Premier League crown. Arsenal sealed the celebrations with a 2-1 victory over Crystal Palace. And 16-year-old Max Dorman also made history by becoming the youngest player ever to win the Premier League title. Here in Freetown, Arsenal fans across the east end of Freetown celebrated the club's historic achievement, with many describing the triumph as long overdue. SLBC spoke to some jubilant fans following the title announcement. And that ends your update, and thank you so much for watching. See you next time.
Many thanks, Abdul Kabir. With that, we wrap the news tonight. But before we go, here is a recap of the main points. A 5-story building collapsed at Kisii Road in Freetown. It left many families homeless and heartbroken after the structure came down around 1 a.m. on Tuesday. Residents say they were asleep when a loud crashing sound suddenly woke them up. The race for the presidency of the Sierra Leone Bar Association has been gradually taking shape. 2 female lawyers have now publicly declared their ambitions ahead of the association's next elections. Incumbent President Tuma Adama Jabi is seeking re-election, while legal practitioner Martina Bindu Igbenda is making her first bid for the top position. And the National Commission for Children is on a sensitization campaign on the Child Rights Act 2025. Its Director of Advocacy and Communication Coordinator Adi Valkasel, during our Good Morning Sailing program, said there were a lot of issues in the old law that needed to be addressed. That's all we can share with you tonight. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.